Hello Statesman Nation, I'm Wade Steinloggy and this is In the Locker Room presented by Malcolm Lumber. The bowling team fared well at Nationals. The women's golf team rolled in its home tourney and will be preparing for a run for its sixth straight league title. And the baseball team inched closer to a league title of its own. We'll also have a couple special guests in the locker room today. All of that and much more. You're in the locker room. The softball team was busy as usual last week, including in its six-game schedule. It had a pair of games early on in the week, Tuesday against Clark. Let's see how the team did. The team dropped the first game 8-0 against the Pride, but bounced back in the nightcap, rattling off 13 hits. Starting off here with Lindsay Lambert long double all the way to the fence in right field, driving home Whitney Stone, and William Penn on the board early. Now here in the third inning, now trailing 2-1, but Emily Brown getting William Penn tied up here. Big shot down the left field line, and it's 2-2. Kept going here in the third as Whitney Stone will find one right up the middle. William Penn takes the lead and never gives it back. 4-2 at this point. Haley Freestone with a single through the right side. Now 5-2 in the fourth, and Brown doing work again. This one just over the outstretched glove of the pitcher. William Penn going up 6-2, fortunately, with a dropped ball there by the catcher. Jasmine Gonzalez, freshman that's been having a great run of it lately, gets in the action with a single. And now one more by Lindsay Lambert. This one a two-run single up the middle. William Penn pulling away 9-2 and will hold on 9-5. So they get the split against the Pride, again falling 8-0 in the first game. Second one, strong bounce back for the Statesman 9-5. Harper going 3 for 4. Springer picks up the victory in 5 1/3 innings as well. Softball team will then go to Des Moines to take on rival Grandview, and unfortunately came up short in a couple of one-run contests. Contrary to what the screen says, William Penn fell 1-0 in that first game. Springer had a great game. Second game, William Penn actually took the lead in the top of the seventh, but would end up falling 6-5 in that contest. So another sweep there to the ranked Vikings. Then on Saturday, the team going down to Lamoni for a pair of heart matchups. First game, again, the offense couldn't get going, falling 2-0. And then just bouncing back like they did against Clark. The Statesmen picking up an 8-4 victory in the nightcap. Haley Freestone getting a home run. Harper also leaving the park, and Springer picked up a complete game victory. The baseball team entered this past week in the driver's seat in control of its own destiny for the Hart title, and would open up the week against Missouri Valley, and hopefully was going to be an easy couple. And the first game, William Penn had a big lead, would end up falling behind before finishing off the Vikings in 8 innings, 10-6. Big outing for Zach Edgar and Tanner Badir. And then the Statesmen just unloaded on the Vikings in game 2, winning 20-6. 2 huge innings for the Navy and Gold, 10 runs in one and a 9 in another, as Lionel Colon didn't need any of that, needed a little bit of that offensive support, but he ended up picking up the victory, going a complete game. That set up a big matchup against Central Methodist on Saturday, number 1 against number 2 in the league. Unfortunately, this doubleheader did not go William Penn's way, falling 4-1 and 10-3. This wasn't William Penn's day, but they will go into the final week of the season still in the driver's seat, still with an opportunity to pick up the conference title. The bowling teams, did not pick up a national title. That's obviously always the end goal, but a couple of very strong showings for both the men and the women. The men went 1-2, including eliminating the top-seeded Shockers out of Wichita State before bowing out themselves. Then the women also went 1-2, picking up their first head-to-head victory at nationals. So a really strong outing for the teams, finishing in the top 10 nationally. The women's golf team hosting the Mike Fluff Cowan Invitational, and ended up being just a duel against Mount Mercy, but Mount Mercy being the best competition William Penn's going to see out of the Heart, and that was a good matchup for the Statesmen, and they ended up winning by 50 strokes at Edmondson Golf Course. Alexis Guimaraes would lead the way at 155. William Penn had all 6 of its varsity individuals led the tourney in the top 6. The Kansas Relays were the hosts for select few track and field individuals, and high jumpers Vashi Wabarocha and Finn Alade both recorded top 10 finishes, as did the men's 4x1 group. Even though the wind was maybe not the best, but William Penn knocking off several D1 programs, at the Kansas Relays. And finally, also the men's golf team competed at the Ottawa Invitational, finishing 3rd out of 5th. Oliver Stanway and Zachary Chegwidden both tying for 4th at 154. So right down to the last week of the season.
William Penn University provided the opportunities for me to widen my potential after graduation. I loved being involved with the women's golf team and was able to focus my last few years on internships at the YMCA. With all the opportunities at Penn, I hope to one day be working in a stadium for a pro team or doing the business side of sports, which I love. The opportunities are real, your potential is unlimited. Discover your place at William Penn University.
You built a castle so that the prince and princess can live happily ever after. You brought the sunshine to shine upon the whole family's future. But when the sun hides behind the clouds, State Farm can help. We put the life back in life insurance to protect your family's finances, not only in the future, but today.
Call your State Farm agent Kelly Style in Oskaloosa today.
What if there was a program
where I could express my individuality,
create my visions, get the hands-on learning that I need,
a program where I could become something greater,
become something bigger?
Hello everyone, this is Tyler Van Welden from Malcolm Lumber in Grinnell, Montezuma, and Oskaloosa. Malcolm Lumber is your DIY headquarters, and we would love to help you with any projects you want to tackle. Bring us your plans, let our staff help you. We will get you the right materials, the correct tools, and the support you need to make that project come out perfect. And now we have a full-time designer for that new kitchen and bath. Stop in and say hello at any of our 3 store locations or call to make an appointment.
Welcome back, Statesman Nation. The women's track and field team has had a much improved season during the indoor and now the outdoor season, and one of the individuals that we can credit to all of that success is joining me now in the studio, Alexandria Woodenberg, senior out of Ottumwa, Iowa. So I appreciate you coming in for a little bit, Alexandria. You're having a great year, great way to finish off a career. Let's talk about the improvement that you've made this year, and I guess what keyed that?
Well, I have had a great improvement since last year. My time has improved by over half a second, which for sprinters is huge. I really have to thank Coach Z for that. He played a huge role in that. From his workouts, we focused a lot on upright technique, He says I have great upright technique, which I don't really know what that means. But I needed to really improve my cycles and how fast my feet were moving. And so he had us do a lot more workouts, focused on that, and he just really pushed us a lot this year.
Definitely. Well, you already hit on the one thing that I wanted to talk about, but let's talk about the overall group that you guys have. Caleb Music is a national qualifier. You have improved greatly. I mean, you got the likes of Asia Loudermilch in there. I mean, Raven Williams, Denisha Washington. I guarantee I'm forgetting a whole bunch of other people, but so much depth there that hasn't been there in the past. Getting numerous individuals in the finals as compared to just hasn't happened in the past. how much have you guys been able to feed off of each other and build each other up, and as a little bit of inter team competition? How much is that helping you guys?
Yeah, last year I always looked up to Asia. She was like a huge role model for me, and so I always tried to like compete with her, try and like beat her, because she was my competition, and so I wanted to be as good as she is. And so this year that really helped, and I always tried to keep up with her in the workouts. And for Denisha, I know like she and I are like super close in our times. At practice we're right next to each other, and so we push each other when we're all tired and stuff, and we run together. It's a huge team sport, and we all help each other out.
Well, you guys, as much as a team sport with the 4x1, talk about the 4x1 and how much, because it's so much improved, how much more fun that is to run that one when you know that you guys are right there on the cusp of being a qualifier as well.
We're really close, and I mean, even if we don't qualify, even if we don't make it, it's just nice to run with your teammates. It's like last week at Kansas Relays, we didn't do as good as we wanted to, but at the end of the day, we all looked at each other and we said, oh, we had fun. It was a good experience. And so being able to do that with your teammates is more rewarding than, qualifying or making the times.
Definitely. As a senior, talk about your leadership roles and how much, you talk about having a role model in Asia, but how much has the student become the teacher in that respect? And I'm not saying you're the student, but the role model situation. Where do you fit in the whole picture of the sprinting crew?
Well, Coach Z likes to pick on me for my upright technique, and he's like, oh, everybody, watch Alex, look at Alex. And so that does play a little bit of a role. And I always try and when I'm running with Kayla or Denisha or Raven or anyone else really, I always try and keep up with them and push them harder. I always try and make sure their technique could be better, have them try and work up to apparently what I have.
Right. You guys only have just a couple more meets left. It's just one of those seasons that's bang, 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 and it's done. But what are your goals moving forward here? I mean, obviously the goal is qualifying in an individual event or the relay. But what have you set aside as goals here to finish off your career?
Most of my goals are probably related to academics more than athletics. I really want to end the semester with a high GPA. Do the best I can on my finals. And I've got a practicum paper that's due Wednesday, so I really want to do well on that, get that submitted, do the best that I can on those.
Okay. Hey, you totally have figured out the student-athlete situation there, so that's awesome to hear. So best of luck as you're moving forward here in everything that you do. So once again, Alexandria Woodenberg, senior women's sprinter. When we return, we will preview all of the upcoming events, including a couple of events for Ms. Woodenberg and the track and field team. You're in the locker room.
William Penn University provided the opportunities for me to widen my potential after graduation. I loved being involved with the women's golf team and was able to focus my last few years on internships at the YMCA. With all the opportunities at Penn, I hope to one day be working in a stadium for a pro team or doing the business side of sports, which I love. The opportunities are real, your potential is unlimited. Discover your place at William Penn University.
You built a castle so that the prince and princess can live happily ever after. You brought the sunshine to shine upon the whole family's future. But when the sun hides behind the clouds, State Farm can help. We put the life back in life insurance to protect your family's finances, not only in the future, but today.
Call your State Farm agent Kelly Style in Oskaloosa today.
What if there was a program
where I could express my individuality,
create my visions, get the hands-on learning that I need,
a program where I could become something greater,
become something bigger?
Hello everyone, this is Tyler Van Welden from Malcolm Lumber in Grinnell, Montezuma, and Oskaloosa. Malcolm Lumber is your DIY headquarters and we would love to help you with any projects you want to tackle. Bring us your plans, let our staff help you. We will get you the right materials, the correct tools, and the support you need to make that project come out perfect. And now we have a full-time designer for that new kitchen and bath. Stop in and say hello at any of our 3 store locations or call to make an appointment.
Welcome back, Statesman Nation. It's the final week of the regular season for most of our spring teams, and it is also the final week of the regular spring semester as well. Finals coming up next week. So with that being said, let's get right into the action so we can get our students off to their classes. William Penn baseball team, again, leading the Hart standings. 3-game set against Grandview, big 3-game set. 1 game at home on Thursday, 2 in Des Moines on Friday. William Penn wins them all. Don't have to worry about anybody else, what they do. They can win the regular season title. The softball team, big 8-game week when it's all said and done. Culver Stockton on Tuesday, doubleheader at home. Then on Wednesday, the team goes up to Dubuque to take on the Clark Pride for a pair of games. On Saturday and Sunday, then the teams will take on Central Methodist and Missouri Valley, respectively, at Penn Field. So come out and cheer on your Statesman. Sunday will be senior day for the Statesman softball team. Come out and cheer them on and root them on to some victories. Hopefully, a better placement in the Hart tournament. Also, the track and field team will be off. A good chunk of them were off last week, which means now they have double duty this week. Truman Quad on Wednesday and the Simpson Kip Janvrin Open on Friday. And finally, as we had mentioned several times now, the women's golf team will be vying for its 6th straight Hart title, 6th straight league title, as they compete in the Hart Championships Tuesday through Thursday. So wish them and all the teams a lot of luck moving forward. Since this is our final week of the spring season and everything, I'd like to give some special thanks to all of those who have helped to make this program what it is. Unfortunately, you get to see my face every week. You don't get to see all of these great individuals that are behind the camera that have much, much more talent than I do. But I would like to give them a little shout out. They include Darren Williams, Amanda DeVore, Adam Chown, Jared Goodman, Dan Minderman, Zach Tracy, AJ Helgeson, Jose Valle, Eric Crehan, and David Decker. So appreciate all of their hard work this season as we've gotten in the locker room off the ground. But when we come, we'll be back in the fall, and hopefully with a few more tweaks to the show and can continue to improve the experience for our viewers. But until then, go Statesman and have a great summer.